All right, Mona, we're live. And how are you tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Fantastic.
Fabulous, fabulous. We're going to monitor the comments, and we have, hey, Gretchen. Gretchen's already on.
Hi,
Hey,
Gretchen.
Gretchen. She says, I got word about Reverend Jesse Jackson. I used to listen to the Rainbow Push and
Yes.
his daughter. Yes, we're going to talk a lot about that tonight. Always good to have you on, Gretchen. Thank you so much for your faithfulness, I'm going to call it.
Yes.
So,
Her
folks,
parent, her parents. I don't know if you know this, but her father. They were very active in
yeah,
the 80s. Yes, particularly her
man,
dad.
I did not know this. No wonder she is so engaged in
Yes.
community.
Yes.
Gretchen is very, very engaged. And
Yes.
now
She's
I know
brought up.
why.
Yeah. She's brought
Now
up.
I know why the apple does not fall far from the tree. So,
No.
as you can see, Gretchen, tonight we're opening up with Reverend Jesse Jackson, and we're telling the truth about what leadership costs. Um, there's a big cost around Black leadership in America. America loves Black leaders who are safe, quiet, predictable, and
Mhm.
approved by the majority. But Jesse Jackson wasn't built for approval. He was built for pressure. He ran for president when they told Black America to stay in our place. He organized when they told us to wait. He forced the political system to acknowledge Black voters as power, not decoration. And while he was up on the mountain fighting for moral and economic justice, a lot of America was down in the valley worshiping the golden calf. Money, access, celebrity, political clout. That's what this feels like right now. With these white elite scandals, with the moral talk from politicians, with Christian branding being used like a costume. So tonight, we're not doing vibes, we're doing accountability, which is what we are all about. And we're connecting Jesse Jackson's legacy to what's happening right now and why Black America must stop falling in love with politicians and start building power behind real fighters. So we're going to do something a little bit different than our normal countdown. So, Mona, if you can roll it, we're good.
I may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be hungry, but I am somebody. I am Black, beautiful, proud. I must be respected. I must be respected.
And that's the beauty. So, before we get going, I'm going to make sure we're playing our video.
To the Black Independent, where we speak truth to power, unapologetically.
For too long, the Black vote has been treated like a given, but we're not property. We're not pawns. We are the descendants of those who built this nation. And now, we're demanding tangibles, not tokenism, because the era of blind loyalty is over. This is the Black Independent. Let's get to work.
Here we go. Let's get to work, Mona.
Let's get to work. We got a lot of work to do. Almost 40 years later.
Yeah. His death kind of helps you put things into perspective. It helps you
Absolutely.
think about those 40 years, 40, 50 years, and what are we doing, people? What are we doing? So, so tonight we open with greatness. We open with greatness. Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr. has taken his rest, people. If you have not heard, he has taken his rest. And whether you agreed with him or voted for him or criticized him or debated him, you cannot deny what he represented. He came out of the civil rights movement. He stood alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was in Memphis in 1968 when King was assassinated. He did not inherit a movement, he survived one. After King's death, many people wondered what Black political leadership would look like in the next generation. Jesse Jackson answered that question. He found Operation Push, P-U-S-H, demanding corporate accountability before diversity was fashionable. He forced major corporations to hire Black executives and invest in Black communities when they had no intention of doing so voluntarily. A lot of y'all remember this. He built the Rainbow Coalition, uniting Black Americans, Latinos, poor whites, labor unions, and farmers long before coalition politics became a strategy. And then he did something that shook the system. Jesse Jackson ran for the president of the United States, not once, twice.
But twice.
In 1984 and again in 1988. He didn't run as a symbol. Sometimes you can tell whoever the person running, they really aren't truly running for president. Mm-hmm. Jesse Jackson ran to compete, and that is what he did. He won states, folks, a Black man at that time winning states. He expanded the electorate, and he registered millions of new voters. Before America ever imagined Barack Obama, Jesse Jackson had already made a Black presidential campaign viable. He expanded what was politically possible. He forced the Democratic Party to reckon with Black voters as a decisive bloc. And that is something that we like to talk about at WABI. We are Black Independent. Jesse Jackson took protests and translated it into policy leverage. He was controversial. Jesse was controversial. He was ambitious. Yes, he was ambitious. And yes, he was sometimes flawed, but man, that man was consequential. And consequential is different than being comfortable. Now, tonight, we're not just celebrating his life. We're asking what his life exposed. Because while he was building infrastructure, expanding voter rolls, and demanding economic access, we have to ask ourselves, what have we done with that inheritance? Why do we hesitate to get fully behind strong Black leaders until they are stamped safe by the white majority? Why do we let the establishment decide or define who is electable? And why do we get emotionally attached to politicians instead of strategically organizing behind policies that benefit us? We're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about political courage versus political safety. And we tend to go for political safety. Mm-hmm. That wasn't Jesse Jackson. We're going to talk about morality in America. Who gets labeled dangerous, who gets protected, and who gets totally dismissed. We're going to talk about corruption, not just on one side, but both. Come on, you guys. We have to have the real conversations if we're going to move forward together. We're going to talk about the difference between performance, and we've seen a lot of performance, and power, what real power is for the community. And we're going to end by talking about what it means to truly get behind fighters in this generation and what that requires from each one of us. Tonight is a tribute, but it's also a mirror. Rest in power, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Now, Mona, let's talk about what we're going to do with the ground that he cleared. And here's what I want you guys to hear and be very, 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 and think about this, consider this. We don't have to pretend Jesse was flawless to tell the truth. Mm-hmm. He expanded Black political imagination and infrastructure. He didn't have to be flawless, but that's what he did. So what do you think?
Well, as we know, no man is flawless, but I would say he was damn near close to it. But before we start,
yeah,
as you can see, I grew up during that era, right? So I was coming to adulthood. I remember his first, I don't know if it was I think it was his second term running for president. I was already living in Louisiana. That's how I met Donna Brazile and all these people. And
girl, I didn't not know you lived in Louisiana.
Yeah, my husband's in the military. So
okay, that answers that, because I lived all over the place too. It's like, okay.
And that's when we really, really got involved with anything to do. But before we get started, we have somebody who has joined us backstage. Let's bring her up. So she's going to help carry this this conversation with us tonight. And
oh my God, a surprise guest, y'all! I'm as surprised as you are. It's Connie Burton.
Well, I don't know where my bell is. Oh, my computer is not the same tonight. I want to clap. Can you give her some claps?
So you're asking me to do some things. You're asking me to go to that place you go to a lot.
Welcome, my sister, Connie Burton. How are you?
Wait. I'm wonderful. Peace and blessings and power.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. I know that when I heard the news, my brother and Jesse, they had a good, he's in his fraternity. He's an Omega. And he sent the picture, and I think I got the news. It was Tuesday, right? Tuesday about early that morning. Whenever they got the news, I got the news.
Yeah.
And I felt, although we knew he had lived a good, long life, it's a celebration, but I did still feel some kind of, a good man. So,
I'm glad you're on tonight.
A lot of peace and comfort to his family, his boys, his daughter, his wife, Jackie. Look, wait. I thought I pulled the book that she wrote to her son when they put her son in jail. For the same bullshit they do.
Wow.
That's what we're going to talk about. Connie,
you're on because you're the expert at.
Don't say that.
You live a very similar life of that fighter that I think we have to look for the times that we're in, and our tendency is to move away from rather than gravitate toward. So I thank you for jumping on with us tonight, because you are a living example. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. And I think, like what both of you ladies, definitely a wonderful introduction on a brother that, we don't have to pretend, ask questions about his work. It has been well documented. Some that are still living can recall things that Reverend Jackson and, ongoing battles and struggles that they themselves participated in. And then, we continue to see that living history played out because of the longevity to his life. And so losing Reverend Jackson, of course, I never broke bread with him, sat down, with him in a dinner setting or anything. I've been in auditoriums where he's been the keynote speaker. But his life history of work make us feel connected.
Yes.
And that is something that I think we're going to have to do a real examination, because Jesse Jackson, although, there was many within the Dr. King circle, it is very few that continue to work on such a massive and national scale that we could still lay claim to, the work of the civil rights movement, people that led the charge. And so that's what makes Reverend Jackson so unique. Not falling to the prey of being a celebrity type civil rights leader. He had done his job, his work one and done, but he continued to inspire the community. We was able to see through his ongoing work things in ways in which we could participate in. And so for me, it's always a check mark. We can avoid the criticism in terms of we was looking for perfection in him. It's in none of us.
It's in none of us.
But the things that makes him damn near perfect is his continual work within the work of leading our people toward liberation, and the constant exposure of the injustice that not only happens here in the United States, but throughout the world. Because Reverend Jackson had a international expansion of his work. He understood the fabric of injustice and the healing process that would make a whole world whole again. So I take great inspiration from the Reverend's work. When I'm reading, I'm always looking to others, whether it's Marcus Garvey, whether it's Malcolm X, whether it's members of the Panther Party, whether it's the writing of James Baldwin, that we can see the things that we should be doing.
Yes, absolutely. As I have some of our leaders and ancestors in two categories, A and B, and he definitely would be over there on the B side, because what this man did, how he and I didn't really think about this till I started reviewing his life over. Barack campaign pretty much mirrored what he did, because the groundwork and how he got us out. I can remember being in Louisiana, walking those streets, registering people. Even when we was here, how we registered, got Black people registered to vote. The way he did his campaign, and when he say keep hope alive, Barack says let's hope and change.
Well, don't no one slogan belongs to one particular person, because it has been constant in repetition. The thing that brought me into political life, believe it or not, is just those simple words of I am somebody.
Yeah.
And I can recall very clear of just thinking, oh, he makes his speeches so understandable.
Yes.
They're not just over our head. This man that we know, for him to have such a national spotlight, that he was educational driven. He had been through the seminary. He had been well read, intellectually sound. But when he talked to the people, he let the people know that he was one of them. He's one of us.
Yes.
So on a national stage, um, all of the flareness was out of him, but he was able to speak directly to the pain of the people, the conflict that the people was, enduring throughout this government, whether it was the issue of economic starvation that we see in our community, the issues of police brutality that he was, adamantly opposed to, just like Dr. King, seeing how this government was using most of its funding toward military enarmament. So Jesse had Reverend Jackson had been groomed well, coming into the civil rights movement at an early age. Uh, he was one of the key players. So for me, another inspiring, it ain't because he read about it, it was because he was about it.
Well,
He
that's
did
what
the
I was.
work.
That's what I
Mhm.
was going to ask you. Do you think it's a different when it has been a lived experience?
I do. I do,
Because
but
when I look at some of these politicians and when they say they want to help the working poor, the homeless, the working class, and when they have not lived that experience, they can never feel it. They would never understand it, and they do more maybe textbook. And that's why we really haven't gotten these issues solved.
I don't think they can see the urgency,
Right.
the urgency. Jesse, being born, like you say, his mother was a teenage mother. The
Yeah.
difficultiness in that, uh, being teased, picked on, because of not his sin, quote unquote, but the way people saw unwed Black mothers at the time. So when he hear the terminology or the description of Black women as being welfare queens,
Right.
he can then reflect that back to his own upbringing as a young person and have that compassion within him, as opposed to somebody reading a manual, and not that that person might not gravitate or have an understanding, but it's not the same experience.
And they don't have an understanding, and I don't even think it's an understanding what we're learning today, right? Because how I don't really I get frustrated sometimes with the Democratic Party when they have allowed, I would say, for the last 42 years to have even Democrats or Republicans talk down to us in a certain way. When we know we're not the welfare queens, when we know we're not the super predators, when we know we're not these things, they are.
Mhm.
But we have allowed them, the Black Caucus have allowed them, they don't push back on it. And I think even I don't. I really remember his second run, and I think most of the people I knew was most of the Black people was supporting him. But we do know it was a lot of people in the Democratic Party who was running for the second term. Was it the
Was it
caucus?
the caucus?
The caucus,
Gary
yeah,
Hart, I think
yeah.
both of them was in the running.
Well, you remember
Yeah,
he got in some type of trouble, right?
right.
Yes,
Well, they
and
all
so
get
he
in
got,
trouble. I mean, the history of
yeah,
America is trouble. The
yeah,
history
and he
of
got out.
white men with power, from the beginning, since the enslavement of our people to right now that we see on the Senate floor, is white men's in trouble. The problem being, in my opinion, is that white politicians still have an understanding, whether it is liberals, Democrats, independent, Republican. Number one, they're white first. And if
Hmm.
we separate that from the discussion, then we find ourselves like trying to be like, well, why they don't understand? They have an understanding, but their interest in being able to deliver based on their whiteness come before anything. And so Dr. King ran into similar problems. The Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, uh, prior to becoming a candidate for president, was moving in some of the poorest parts of West Virginia and trying to get them to understand or couldn't understand why they wouldn't join coalitions that was fighting for social justice. And it is what we see today is that white people on one hand will, I'm not going to say pretend that they have a compassion of consciousness, but that it would have to be so bad for them to act differently than the majority. They have to break themselves away from the majority role of saying that we're fighting to preserve this, whether they call it whiteness or not. But what we see happening in Minnesota is part of the American history, but it was only done to black folks.
Yes,
So it
yes.
is nothing new. So when we hear them gasping as if, their voices are being silent, oh, they are being treated harshly, their democratic constitutional First Amendment rights is being taken from them. The history of African people has been as such, but it mattered not for the majority because it was for the preservation of whiteness first.
Sure, wasn't affecting them.
Mm-hmm.
Jeanette, you're on mute. Jeanette, we can't hear you. Let me see if I can help her. Jeanette, unmute your phone. Unmute yourself. Can't hear you.
She know that.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. So we can continue to talk until she.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see that.
Mhm.
So I remember what really made me, when you think about it, when we let, and they're still doing it. I don't want to play that game anymore. When the Democratic Party picks the candidate, when the Democratic Party want to play it safe, when the Democratic Party say that these people, a certain candidate might not be electable, and the caucus got his goddamn ass whooped by Reagan, right?
Yes. Well,
Yes.
it's because of them picking that will not polarize the majority. They wanted the pathway of less resistance. What candidate could they connect to? What black candidate can they connect to that's going to continue their forwardness toward issues that pertain to their lives first? Like if we say what has been the priority issues for black people has not necessarily been the priority issues that white people want. When we talk about voting rights, social and economic justice, ending the issues of police brutality, it get turned around in ways in which we are opposed to this government, we are opposed to this system. But, when we heard defund the police became the slogan, whether they was Republicans or Democrats, that telling us and chastising black people that was something that we should never even think of. But now we can see where people on the federal level is playing the same role as slave patrollers. Now they're having issues that their constitutional rights, and this is un-American.
So,
I
can you hear me?
can hear you well. Thank you.
All right. So I had to leave and come back, but it's probably because I was trying to do TikTok at the same time, and I'm 66. What do people expect? I'm not going to get it right. But
Hey,
Connie,
you're doing very well. You're the technical person behind all of this. I just want Facebook and YouTube to know that she pretty much handles all of it.
yeah, well, I'm like, WTF, what is happening here? I just want to ask one quick question, but Connie, you are absolutely saying a lot.
She's a walking history book.
And again, I appreciate you being on the shore to just sort of share that and to be able to take, your understanding of the history of Jesse Jackson and tie it to what we're experiencing today, because it's the today that I think people are not making that connection, or they're not making that connection fast enough. And I think that we need to have opportunities like this to hear from people that have boots on the ground like yourself, to give us the warning of, Jesse Jackson. It wasn't easy for Jesse Jackson, and there was a lot of narratives going around that we as Black people, our civil rights activists, had to fight against those narratives that drove white people to vote against their own interests. They've been doing it for a very long time. They're still doing it today. But there's an opportunity here. I'm hearing you say they're finally maybe waking up.
Well, I think the more the exposure now, because it exposed don't mean that people gonna believe the truth.
Right.
Because like you're here, people say, I want to get back to the good old days. The good
Yeah.
old days, like what do that mean for them? I mean, do it mean when their father's father owned property?
They gotta ask
Home?
the question.
I think, they don't want to say that, but that would represent the good old days for them. When they
Right.
was able to control the full economy and pick your pockets, take your labor, take whatever you thought you was rightfully owned, even to devaluing your women, your children, at a time when Black folks didn't know how we was gonna make a way out of no way, the development of what we call good soul food, taking just the guts and being able to make it into a delicacy. And so what white people feel, I believe, would be able to make them feel like they're living a heavenly existence on earth again, is that if all of them can experience that. Now, everybody, we live in a capitalist society. And so while they would think they would be part of the 1%er, it
Right.
just don't work that way.
But
It's
it's been
unbelievable.
Capitalism is based on the extraction of wealth and value from somebody. So there's
Right.
going to be a hierarchy and different levels of development of workers, laborers, and on and on. But they can't see that because they
Right.
don't have the endurance. They don't have the endurance. Although the scripture says that we was all made let me stop trying to quote scriptures, but
You
other
can
than our
paraphrase.
skin tone being
You
of a
can
different
paraphrase.
hue, we all got 2 eyeballs, a nose, a mouth, organs, on and on and on. What separates us apart is our lived experience.
Right.
right.
Our lived experience, our parents lived the experience, the storytelling of how we was able to endure all of that pain and hate. Well, white people live experience might be that they father went through the Great Depression. They 4K fell apart. They lost their job. They had to relocate. Well, that hasn't made them raise a tough like us.
Mhm.
And it is this constant need for them to feel this ongoing past symbolism in their head, that in order for them to be like, the world is not picking on them. Oh, they are part of reverse discrimination. White men have been harmed. You hear it all the
Well,
time.
well,
That they want to take back something that psychologically we would never be able to fix within them.
well.
We can't fix it.
Here's the deal, because in some way they have, but they've been harmed by their people. Because when Reagan them start selling this country out, taking their manufactured everything they have and the positions they have, when they talk about the 40s and the 50s, the government helped put them into middle class. The government made it easy for them. But now they think they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. They think they did everything on their own. And now that the government can't do it and their children now are having a hard time, now it's a problem. And it ain't our problem. And
Well, they'll never tell us, excuse me, they'll never talk about how the tax cuts benefit them. They'll never talk about the subsidies that they get, the big corporations, all the way down to the farmers. They would never talk about the welfare class within their structure because it don't represent that for them.
Right.
How
So
they made middle class. How they made middle class. How they built these homes and gave it to them for damn near free.
So white America has lived 250 years, because this is the 250th year anniversary, birthday actually for America. I almost want to say Black folks boycott the birthday. It's because we're about to transition into something different. And the reason we're making this transition is because you Black people are meeting with too much success, and they don't like that. So they're willing to tear it down. And if they're willing to tear it down, what do we have to celebrate come July 4th? And who was that? Frederick Douglass. What does July 4th mean to me? Absolutely nothing. And I think that but we need to make those kinds of stands right now. Understanding history, understanding what our ancestors said, understanding the moment that we're in now, and take a stand even on this 250th birthday that everybody seems to be celebrating. You go to the fair, it's all over the place. 250 years, posters, everything. Why?
Well, I think the passing of the Reverend has sparked a light bulb into conversations and into our thinking. Because, I mean, we don't live up on a rock to see how under this administration, and it's not Trump by itself. Trump don't get no pushback from none of them, not from the majority. The attempt to erase our existence, you know, through the pettiness of removing murals. Then we see the attack on the intellectual property in ways in which Black folks in the federal government has been pushed out of the labor force. Then to now go back and use the imageries of tying President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama to old slave narratives. So whether you like Jesse or not, whether you want to believe that this government and you're living your best life, right in front of you right now, these things are happening. You know, the rollback of the Voting Rights Act, it is happening right now. So you can put on your cowboy boots, you can stroll and dance and act as if, you know, we just living in a wonderful America and pop your, you know, 4th of July firecrackers. But the reality is, at the top of the pyramid of whiteness, they're trying to convince all of these, as the pyramid come down, that you're in their way of success, that Black folks is in the way of their success. You know, why Donald Trump will sue the government to get more money in his pocket for his children and legacy. It's taken away from them, but they haven't been able to see it. So the concentration of what white people will do when the light bulb come on for them is not my concern. My concern constantly is to gather our people in conversation formats such as this, and I believe it's happening more often than what we think. People are having full discussions on how to circle the wagon. We are missing some elements on how to move us forward, but it's too many things that's happening to us right now. When you don't see, I believe, Black folks engaging in the most recent public protests. our light bulb is on because we have took too much water and got too little in return to even dare put ourselves on the front line at this
Yeah.
moment. Mhm.
Yeah, I've said many times that, and I don't necessarily know how this happened, that Black folks was on the same page on this one,
Mhm.
and that it is likely the best demonstration of protest we could have done, and that was to stand down on those protests in the streets. Do not go. And because of that, we are seeing white America begin to see itself, that which they have denied or pretended not to see is front and center. They can't
Mhm.
focus on us. They have to focus on themselves. We are not in the way. One of the best decisions I think we could have made. And how we made it, Connie, I'm not sure.
I
We
think
just
we took the advice of
the
our
ancestors.
grandparents of minding
I was like the
your
ancestors.
business, minding your own business,
Minding your damn business is what my
Well, it took
grandmother
minding
used to
your
say.
Black business.
Well, it
Yeah.
took us a while. It took us a while to do it, but I guess it was November 4th, 2025, when white America said, "We don't care. We're not voting with you." And I know I keep saying, and I thought they would, but they didn't. And Mona, go ahead and say it. I just knew they wouldn't. I got you.
Well,
But
I
that was the big slap in the face. And then suddenly we said, "Okay, we're done." But I've
Mhm.
never seen us be done at this level in my lifetime.
Mhm.
No, I think the biggest thing for me was when Biden did not get the George Floyd bill passed. Now I don't care what he needed to do, he just should have got it done. Because the first 2 years he had the House and the Senate, and he kept saying, "I want to reach across the aisle." See, I use that as um, him signaling to the white people on the Republican side, I'm with you. That's a dog whistle to me that this isn't something white men want to do, period. And
I
he didn't get
think
it done.
for me, I think when I started recognizing some rumbling in the political circles
Hmm.
is the second term of President Barack Obama.
Mhm,
Okay.
Because people had a feel, a hope that
mhm.
more would be done. You
Yes.
know, that the the pay the suffering had already been laid out for him to ascend to a position because we had heard from Shirley Chisholm, we had
Yes.
heard from uh, Brother Reverend Jesse Jackson, and now
Hmm.
Barack Obama is in a position to help his people. And we get to the second term because people were saying,
I said,
don't stir up nothing. Just kind of like gradually see what's gonna happen. And
yeah.
then we get to the second term and we don't see anything of significant happening for us. I
Well, let me say
believe
this.
that was kind of like the turning on of the light bulb that those that lack of political engagement started kind of winding down, and you start seeing even with um, Joe Biden not being able to make his final decision if he was going to run or not, Black voters had already, stepped back and say, "Hey,
Right.
this is on y'all." So
And even
that's
when
the way I saw it in a lot of ways.
even when Hillary Clinton came in, so when I saw it, of course you remember the second term, it was almost if you said anything, if you criticized it, it wasn't that you was talking against, you was criticizing the policy. We was criticizing saying we wasn't getting what we needed from this black president or from a president at all. But they didn't want that. But now what we have learned, and here's where we need to understand and how we need to move forward. Because Barack, and we talked about this, Jeanette, a couple of weeks ago. As we understand now with these pipes, Israel, really, these people are bought and paid for. They are there to manage the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't going to push back. He wasn't one who pushed back. He wasn't a fighter. And we didn't realize that. Now we know what we should be looking for in all politicians, in our
Right.
local seats, in our judges, and all of these things. Because I looked up Hakeem Jeffrey, and you remember Charles Barron. He was in the assembly. You remember him, Connie?
Mm-hmm.
2012.
Mm-hmm.
He was supposed to have this seat that Hakeem Jeffrey got, but it turned out, and we never understood. Now he was a little younger, but APAC had bought him, and APAC got him that seat. And this is why this man don't push back. This is why he couldn't endorse Mondani. He couldn't do this stuff because these people, he's somebody's bitch, really. I hate to say that, but I want him gone. And
So
all
you
of
said
it.
it. So you said it, but I want to sort of frame what it is that I think we have been talking about. And we're talking about safe Black leaders versus fighters.
Right.
Yes.
And when you talk about Barack Obama, was he safe or was he a fighter? When
He
you
was
talk
safe.
about Jeffries, is he safe or is
Safe.
he a fighter? And why is it that the Black community seem to gravitate toward these safe Black leaders? And if you talk about Jesse Jackson, was he safe or was he a fighter? And I
He
think
was a
it
fighter.
should be clear to anyone who knows the three that we talked about. So the establishment often rewards Black leaders who do not disrupt power. When
Mhm.
Black people line up behind safe, we get symbolism, Juneteenth, excuse me, I had to say it, without any protection, with no protection at all. So they'll celebrate our presence as long as we don't demand a portion. And I think if you go back to MLK, as soon as he started saying, we need a check kind of thing, what happened? He's no more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They killed him.
When
When we don't
and
demand our portion, we're safe.
Yeah. Go ahead, Connie.
and I was just going to say, like we can see the lineup of candidates, and then of course the violent history of America, the
Yeah.
violent history in ways
Violence.
they have attacked Black people, even when we sought voter registration cards.
Yeah.
The violent nature of us participating or having Black leaders, whether it is in America or from the African continent, is to send a brutal message that if you start disrupting their power, look, Black folks, this is what we would do to you. We would put Mandela in prison for 29 years. We would assassinate African leaders, numerous of them. We would kill King, shoot him in the head in broad daylight. We would orchestrate ongoing feuds inside the Black community through COINTELPRO. We will spy on you. We will lie on you. We will take your job. We will take your life. We will take your children. These are true things that this government will do. And
That's
so
right.
what Black folks usually do is say, we don't expect anything from this government because of that history. And
Right.
so when it comes down to voting for a candidate that's going to be a fighter, if they're going to be safe, the fighters don't usually get to the final run. They get
Right.
exposed for things that might have happened, didn't happen. Then it turns out to be distrust of us as voters. Will I support that person, knowing that allegations could be true or not? It might be true, they're flawed, but they still have the passion. So it is on us as voters and as Black people to say, in this moment of time, right now, where we're at right now. What are you willing to surrender? What are
Yeah.
you willing to surrender?
Well, that's
Are
what
you?
I'm going to lead into, because right now we can't do what we've been doing. We know that it hasn't worked. We cannot lead this.
We just voted
Our nation.
locally in our
I
community.
know,
We say
and
it, but we continue to do it.
I
Uh,
know. But what we
yeah,
got to say
I
is,
do.
these candidates going to have to come down, come in, put a stick in the ground, and say, "This is what I'm fighting for." And when they don't, we have to get them out of there, because when we let these people sit there year after year, term after term, and when we let these candidates, our local candidates, run unopposed, this is just the craziest shit to me, and don't nothing get done, you know. So we're gonna have to change the way we've been doing, and we see what we see it now. Okay, so we see what's happening. We see how it's governed. We see who get put in, who get bought, who get put up, and it looked like, if we're gonna keep doing the same thing, why vote?
It's a long-term sport, and most people would just take the hit at bat. Don't attempt to run around the base. Have no really interest in trying to hit a home run, and won't even stay long enough to see where the ball landed.
Yeah, there
You
will be
know,
no.
I just went to vote, and that's all I did. And so
Yeah.
when it's time for the follow up and the follow through, you can't get people to even participate in that process because of either past anxiety, of just being so disheartened with the process that whatever happens, people just do not care, from the standpoint of seeing, engaging into a full fight, a political fight of demands,
Right.
a political fight for justice, of accountability, So you have so few voices that's willing for the long-term engagement, that politicians usually, whether they Democrat or whatever, just tend to work toward their own basic interests. And in Black politics, we usually see, that many of them take, the idea that they become the head Negro in charge. And so whatever the body, that brought them to the dance made sure they became the victor, it becomes a total disregard as to the promises that you made and the continual conversation we would like to have with you as within our political structure. It's
And that's what
And
hard to even
that's another.
get them back to that.
that seems to be a recurring
Mhm.
in that happens in our community over and over with the politicians that we put in place. And the reason I put that in quotes is, are we actually putting these politicians in place,
Mm-mm.
or are they getting help from outside of us to get into those seats, which means their loyalty is not necessarily with the Black community, who has not come out to vote in the numbers that it could, to have the kind of influence that it needs to have. But it seems that we get left at the altar every single time
Well, the
Yeah.
turnouts are low.
in our districts.
Yeah, the turnouts are very low because of those that are, most times, on the ticket hasn't had a track record of being able to deliver anything. And so, just like, and I'm not ashamed to say it because I see it. I'm listening to the comments of, a lot of white voters from District 5 that live around the Channel Side area, the downtown area.
Right.
They think our candidate, the person that won, is just doing a fantastic job. You hear it
Yeah.
all the time. That she's doing a fantastic job, and
Mhm.
maybe with more lived experience and political know-how, she could do a fine job. But right now, what I see is the fact that she's auditioning for a second 4-year term. And so as the budget was already approved, people was concerned about that, that we didn't believe that she would have enough experience to go in and make any real direct demands. And so when you look at that agenda, if you look at the council meeting, if you listen to her comments, what are we getting?
Yeah.
Safe-
and-
Safety.
and-
You're getting safety.
Exactly.
Safety.
And someone
Oh.
said that today, that when they get in office, they get in to be safe, to start petitioning to run for the next seat, the next election. And we got to say no to that. If you're not producing, they're not producing. And then I've been hearing about one of our elected officials, very, very disrespectful. You work for the people. How you gonna not speak to people when they want to speak to you? How you gonna just walk away? We got to change this. Because
Well,
it's
it
your job and
changed.
it's your money. You work for the goddamn people.
I know, but Connie sort of let us know that it's all in who actually put you in that seat. And you can go look at the demographics and where people are living to tell
Look at
where
the precincts.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
We gotta have to do a better job.
Until
Well, I
we can
think we need a lot of one-on-one discussions within inside of our community.
Yep.
Like I said, it has been the simple slogans for me. Whether it was James Brown saying, "Say it loud, I'm black and proud," in spite of facts telling us that as a black woman, you're too top heavy, you're too back end heavy, your thighs and hips can't get into no, what was those Anne Klein jeans back in the day, that somehow we didn't have the perfect measurements.
Right.
And then, of course, we've had women in our community that has done, some terrible disfigurements to their bodies, and they
Right.
don't even understand the long-term consequence, or getting away from their own natural beauty.
Right.
Their own natural beauty that everybody around the planet aspires to have your beautiful lips,
Yes.
your beautiful hair, your beautiful breasts, your beautiful swagger. All of this they want, but you can't see your own beauty. So I think the more we have these one-on-one conversations, and the more that we see the ongoing abuse of power coming out of the White House, then trickling down even to your elected body, not taking care of your interests, and you have a power vote over here, but you don't utilize it, then the community have to take ownership to that. We have to be held accountable for that. We don't have the numbers that can overturn with 12% of the population, but collectively we could make a big enough difference in this political game to make people take notice of us. The fact that we're not gonna go back to the same old grind just because white people might want us to vote a certain way, we have to show them that we're willing to take our political chances and go in the opposite direction.
Absolutely.
Right. Do you think?
Go ahead, Jeanette.
Well, do you think that the fact that we are standing down, not marching in them streets, as they say, that can we say that we are preparing and talking to our people to get them out for the vote, understanding the challenges that are being put in place to make it harder for us? Are we ready to meet that hurdle? And come November 3rd of this year, that Black folks will be out in them streets voting. Do we have a plan up towards doing that we can really start looking at the politicians, local and federal, state and federal? We can start looking at them because we know if we know we're going to increase Black voting numbers,
Mhm.
then the Black voting numbers need to be strategically directed and not just by chance. Well, vote for whoever you're going to vote for, but
Mhm.
really push the fighter, the fighter mantra, because
Mhm. Well, that's where real leadership come in. Now, I can't speak and say what all communities are doing, not doing, but it would take a groundswell. It would take massive work, door knocking on the ground, real campaigning. I haven't seen the organization that's willing to step up to the challenge. I hear, lightweight conversation. I see some people in our community is talking about they're challenging some of the incumbents, but the fact that we don't even know, just based on this SAVE Act, what is going to be required to even participate. Like they putting it out already that only the right Americans should be able to participate in the process. So if we don't have like organizational leaders speaking to the supervised elections to say, hey, give us the roadmap. What is the preparation we need to be signaling to our communities right now to get them ready to participate in the right to vote. So once we have leadership stepping up to the plate and saying that they're taking on the challenge of getting out to inform, to educate our community, not 2 weeks before the election, but we should have been in preparation maybe a year back.
yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if it's coming. It takes resources, but it takes courage. It takes real courage to do that kind of work.
Well, it takes courage, but we already have established organizations that have been here for decades that
I could think of
could,
one.
that
I,
that
I,
could,
I, I could think of one. I mean, we have to be true that the absence of the Black church is real.
Mhm.
The absence of Black voices has diminished. I think we are down to one civil rights organization, the NAACP. There's no SNCC, there's no SL there's no Southern Christian Leadership Conference, there's no CORE, there's no Urban League, there's
So
no,
what is the Black Caucus doing? Because
I
they're
can't.
supposed to be into voting, phone banking, and all of that, voter registration. How strong is our local Black Caucus?
I can't speak to what the Black Democrat, I mean the Black Caucus is doing, but when I don't see a full door-to-door campaign, boots on the ground, it might be some phone banking that is occurring. To give people courage, sometimes people have to see you visibly
Absolutely.
standing up, visibly making the challenge,
Right. Absolutely.
So if I, I'm not everywhere, but I'm a lot of places and I don't see it.
We don't
So
see
don't
it.
We got people, let me just say this, we got people that has ran for political office. Some are still running. Some of them do have some untapped money that they didn't use in their campaign. If they had a real sincere interest of Black political power, they would partner with individuals in our community that, right now we ain't talking about if you like me to take me to the prom,
Right.
to even come to your Sunday dinner. We're talking about identifying individuals in our community that shows the bandwidth of
Mhm.
standing up to the power brokers. And
Yes.
so some of those individuals, we have wealth inside of the Black community. We just have to say how people willing to spend their dollars.
but I'm talking too about Black service organizations. How do we come together as Black service organizations to work in tangent around one issue, and that is to get out the Black vote come November. And even starting now, yes, maybe a year late, even starting now to become very visible as the door knockers. If we don't get that, if we do not make a splash this November, I don't know that organizations will even get the kind of funding they've gotten in the past. So their viability is also at stake. So I'm not sure why we don't hear enough from Divine Nine, Links Organization, NAACP, and I know the other organizations are now defunct, but there's enough organizations that call themselves Black organizations to galvanize and then get the rest of the Black community on board around them. It has to start somewhere, and to me, that's where the
Well, if you just even think back, the leadership of our past organizations that we can call on, most of those people was grassroots leaders. I mean,
Yeah.
they became national leaders, but you know, it's sometimes the people that's in the valley that feel they have less material connections, gains, that they can make the great sacrifice. You know, they don't have the 2025 whatever car, Range Rover. They mortgage is not maybe $7,000 a month. Their food expense might be based off a food stamp card. You know, when I think of people like, they say even Reverend Jackson, he was able to earn a degree, but he left school. He didn't even complete his theologian, all of his credentials until it was awarded to him in 2020. You know why? Because he went and joined the movement. He went and joined the movement. Malcolm was dirt poor. He was leading the charge. Dr. King had to be persuaded to keep some of the Nobel Peace Prize money for his own family, because these people had made a conscious decision that they was willing to fight for the majority beyond their own personal gain. And so when we have organizations, and I see them all the time, their concentration is not what we're talking about right now. Their concentration might be, which is nothing bad, getting the next group of young people to go off to Morehouse College. Well, it might not be a Morehouse College, as you just said.
That's my
We
point.
can't take care of this fire that is brewing in the living room right now. And so for them to make that step back is something that greater leadership will have to speak to them about. But I see that in our community, we move more individually. We believe sometimes not the philosophy, but the language that white America has said about us as a people, that somehow they was able to get theirs, not just based off of doors that had been open for them, but then their own personal individuals progress, and is not beholding to the struggle that will free all of us.
Right. But
You know,
I
if
think that
people is interested in line dancing as opposed to let's organize to get a good voter registration group, education, right now, I don't see it. And so I am struggling myself, sisters. I could tell you that it's a lot of stuff that I still don't know. You know, I challenge myself every day. I try to read everything I could find. I go to the library. I'm whatever they wrote, I'm trying to read it and understand it. What will be the next call for our people? And I'm just seeing, like, at 70, what more can I contribute to the cause? What else could I do? You know,
Yeah.
I hear young people say, well, you just need to move out of the way and let us take over. And I say, it's enough work for all of us. You just come on around me and get busy because I'm
Mm.
not stopping you. But I don't plan on leaving just because of your annoyance of me being, centered. And
Yeah.
so we just got to find a way to not be distracted from the noise. Those that want to listen, we share with them, as many good examples that Reverend Jackson left. Uh, he left a roadmap. He left a roadmap that even when he was no longer needed within inside of the civil rights organization, it was no bashing, but he went on ahead and created something that was in the same model of Dr. King. He
Hmm.
kept
Yeah.
on doing the work. And
Yeah.
so our people
Yeah.
can't just say baton passing is what's going to make them, get on board. Your unwillingness to do the work is why you haven't gotten on board.
Yeah. Very good. Very good point.
Jeanette, I knew this was going to be great with her. Um, I see someone has already also joined us by stage. You want to bring him up?
I do. I do.
I'll bring him up.
Yeah, 'cause I got it. Okay, so we both did it. So
Uh,
go ahead and do it again. He's
I'm hearing,
back.
I'm hearing a delay. Hi, Jarvis.
Hey, what's going on, Mona? I'm seeing Sister Connie and Sister Jeanette. Y'all been laying it out. I just been soaking it up here. It is a
Thank
heavy
you.
lifting, and it's a very challenging times that we going in right now. The
Yes.
cream got to rise to the top, and we just have to organize. I think Connie had a great idea to call. Let's find out what's in that Save Act, so we can know what we up against come November. That's the first step. So I think we got to take
Absolutely.
this big old elephant and bite it one bite at a time, because y'all laid out a big wide elephant that if you look at that elephant you may get scared and run in the bushes. So
Well, one
so
thing we do know, yeah, one thing we do know is on the Save Act that since you brought it back up, Jarvis, in the Save Act, we know it passed the House, um, and now it has to pass the Senate. The word on the street is it may very well not pass the Senate because we already have Murkowski in Alaska who says she is not. But the other one, the one that's always concerned, I'm concerned in Maine, forgot her name just that quick, Collins.
I know.
Said, yeah,
Susan Collins.
Collins, yeah, that she is going to pass it. Now, I heard on the street from a very reliable source, I think, that Collins only said that because she knows that it will never come to vote. So we can't rely on the fickleness of our politicians as to what they will or will not do when that does become front and center in the Senate. What we do know, and you can probably go to ChatGPT, put it in, what's in the Save Act, give me a quick summary. And what we will find is that it attacks women's right to vote. Millions will likely be knocked off because of the whole birth certificate and birth
Last
certificate.
name change.
Yeah, so that is likely going to be an issue if it passes, and hopefully women in Congress will not support that. Men in Congress will not support that. But that's one of the biggest things. But for the most part, ChatGPT it, find it, and let's put some very simple flyers or notes or something on our social media to say, this is what's in the Save Act so that people will know. Waiting, I think, probably makes no sense since it's already passed the House.
Mhm.
Need to get ready for people to begin calling their Congress people, what have you, to not support the Save Act so that it never does get to the Senate floor. That's what's working, I think, right now.
Right.
And that's
And
the kind of organizing we're going to have to do instead of marching. Say emailing, calling our senators. flooding their phones, letting them know that we're aware and what we want.
And
Now,
even
now
if the
because-
SAVE Act does not pass, because the SAVE Act, because of it being federally connected, just going back to what we recognize on the local level of non-participation,
yeah,
that we have to just go back and have a engagement, a conversation, door by door, knock by knock, to
Absolutely.
just help people understand
Absolutely.
this is the consequences of not participating. Even if
Absolutely.
we don't get, you didn't participate, and you might have good reasons why you didn't, but these are the things that now we are saddled with because that person won. So, sister, brother, can I get you to come to the poll? Can I get you to make sure within your inner circle, your children, your in-laws, your neighbors on both sides of you, yeah, let's make a pact that we're going to the poll together. Let us be determined, as people are talking about their 250 year of existence. Let us put up some flyers that says that the denial of black vote was won this year, and we have a responsibility of seeing it being victorious in this upcoming election, whether it's local, federal, or state. Let
Yes.
us do that.
Yeah, I agree with that. But let me say, add this to what you're saying, because you're saying exactly something that we've already said or that we will be saying. We have to understand it's not about people, it's about policies. And if we can do the door knocking, go knock on doors and talk about the policies, and candidates as they come and file for running, they don't support the policies, you know what candidates to support and what not to support, because now you are informed about what the policies are that we care about as a community. And I think we make the mistake of loving politicians without really loving ourselves to promote or to follow policies that actually help us. I think that needs to change, and a door knocking campaign could certainly help that, because you were talking about education and not people.
I think we can get there. The reality is there's only going to be room on a ballot for two opposing candidates. It might be a write-in spot, and I don't know how independents, how they garnish enough votes, or do they have to garnish votes to be on the slot? I don't know that part, but I know the two major political parties end up being on every ticket.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example of this. Last night I went to city council meeting because they was talking about the projection of development up until 2045. Last night, I'm sleepy. Everybody know I go to bed early. I'm sitting there about to fall out the chair. And in my comments, and I recognize this, I'm talking to all Democrats. I'm a registered Democrat. I ain't loyal to nobody that's sitting up there. So the rebuke can go to anybody that's up on that platform, that's in the same political party that I'm in, to say that you're not moving in the direction that's right for our community. Now, the difference with me is that the election was months ago, but I continue to show up.
Right.
If we continue to show up, because I witnessed it with other people that should have had home owners insurance, got some flooding in some of the most prestigious part of Tampa, but they show up enough to ensure that this government is going to take care of the harm and damage that was done to their property.
Right.
And
That's
out
correct.
of all of the people that was in, and it had to be about maybe 50, 60 people there, only 2 African Americans. Only 2. So we have given our power away. And what I'm saying is that we have to come back and take our power back, irregardless of who's sitting on the podium.
Right.
We have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's true.
I agree. Listen, great conversation. We're going to switch over. Jarvis,
Yes,
thank you.
I'm here.
Thank you for joining us.
No,
Tell
no
us,
problem at all.
tell the viewers about your Black History event on Sunday.
Yes, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit and have some excitement in celebrating Black History. We're gonna bring Dr. Khalil Ali over to Lakeland. It's gonna be Sunday at 3 o'clock. It's gonna be a history, Black History panel. We're gonna talk about the history of the Nation of Islam, her relationship with Muhammad Ali when he decided not to go in the draft. Also, we're going to talk about the impact that the Nation of Islam under Mr. Muhammad, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, had on the Black community in terms of due for self, in terms of how to live, in terms of the discipline that the Black men was learned during that experience, and how we can pick up those personal development traits to become better Black men. So we'll be talking about that and that impact. Yours truly, Jarvis Salamine. I'll be on the panel. It's another brother that's in Polk County named Brother David that was in the nation, the old Nation of Islam, that he will be on the panel. And of course, Dr. Khalil Ali will be on the panel too, talking about her experience in growing up in the Nation of Islam. And we will also be talking about, because when we talk about Islam to Black people, African Americans, they don't understand Islam. They think Islam is something foreign to them. But we're going to be talking about historically how our ancestors, Prince among slaves, Ibrahim, Bilali, all of these people that come from West Africa, the 35-40% of those slaves that come from Timbuktu and Mali, they was Muslims. And they practiced Islam. And some of the slaves, when they got to the slave plantation, they still practiced Islam. They was doing their prayers, they did Ramadan, doing slavery. And so we want to know that Islam is a part of Black history, part of our heritage, and of course, a part of this that Muslims was in America before America got organized. We're talking about 250 years. It's been cited that Muslims coming from West Africa, from Senegal, from Gambia, where Kunta Kinte Khan was here in the 1500s.
Yeah.
So
we're only learning that now because of the internet, and we can go find that information. But y'all know we did not grow up with none of that information. Not a lick. I did not. As an Army brat, I just got the whole America is everything. So this is great information, but it is something that if we're telling you, oh yeah, that Islam stuff, that's bad, that's because that's what America has taught us. And we bought it. And it's only now through programs like yours that we can learn it in the various programs that we go to. So I would say, folks, y'all should support it.
Yes.
But think about this. If Muslim groups, the Southern Baptists or whatever, our Baptist people, we could all come together. Imagine how much further we could be.
Of course.
Well, but
that needs to be
versus, I see it.
Yeah, I agree with the Muslims' philosophy.
Well, let me just say this to you. The thing of it is that whatever it takes, all into the 1920s, Noble Drew Ali came, and then Elijah Muhammad came with this program in 1930 with Farad Muhammad and that whole program. But we have to understand that Ellis Haley wrote a book that did autobiography for Malcolm, and he traced his roots all the way back to the Gambia. Found out his great ancestor was named Kunta Kinte. And so Malcolm and another one of the historians asked him, say, what happened to you? Say, you found out that you was a Muslim all the way back to your ancestry. Why didn't you just become a Muslim? And the answer that he gave was very interesting. He said, and this is Ellis Haley, supposed to be a scholar and supposed to be educated intellect. He said, I love white women and pork too much. I hope you know Muslim. So this is the kind of understanding of history that we got, that we can pull the best practice and best value from all of our history. Because a lot of what we're learning as Christianity right now is not the Christianity that a lot of our ancestors practiced in the motherland. They was
Well,
practicing the
it's
Christianity.
not any of it, because Christianity, when we first got there, we was spiritual.
Mhm.
Spirituality. It wasn't even this. So once we realized that this Bible is a Bible that they gave us, I think we'll fare a whole lot better as well.
Oh,
I
you hit
think
it,
for,
you
for
hit it on
me,
the head.
what
This is
always
a
stand
Brenda
out.
Allen. Brenda Allen needs to be on here talking to y'all about all that
Yes.
stuff.
I
Definitely.
think what stand out for me from the Nation of Islam is the courage, the profound courage of seeing someone like a Muhammad Ali willing to make the ultimate sacrifice.
Yes.
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 Seeing somebody like a brother Malcolm, not, tasting words with them, letting them know the
My
might
favorite.
of the African black man. And within the Nation of Islam, even with Louis Farrakhan, in being able to assemble a million black men to come to Washington, D.C. for a gathering of unity. So
Yeah.
we just got so many wonderful experience and history within inside of the Nation of Islam. Whether we practice or not, it cannot be denied.
That's
And I'm
true.
glad you hit.
Even Jesse says that when he went to retrieve
Andrew Goodman,
from out of
Syria.
Syria, that
Mhm.
Louis Farrakhan was part of the travel group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Louis Farrakhan was, they don't tell us that because they always want us to be
Separated.
disjointed, don't have harmony with each other. And religion should not separate us. Who
That's
you
right.
pray to, who you love, who you worship, that's your personal. But white people use it as a dividing stick
Right.
against us, because if we're not connected to their whiteness, then we're doing something wrong. To their Christianity, we are doing something wrong.
Right.
And
Right.
Connie, you hit it on the head, and that's why you know me for many years, and both of your sisters know me for many years. I never wear my religion on my sleeve. People know me as a person who practices what he say he believe in. A person that right now getting ready to start Ramadan tomorrow, that fast, and people know that when prayer time come, I stop and pray. All of this is a part of the discipline that Islam teaches the black man. And so those principles of discipline, those principles of fasting and self-control, those principles of self-sufficient and being able to do for self and doing those things is what we want to talk about in a panel discussion. Just get some inspiration. So we're going to be at the well. It's going to be this coming Sunday, 3:00. Is at 114 Parker Street, downtown Lakeland. It's a beautiful facility. Is owned by a couple, a brother and a sister, husband and wife. They own this. It's a jewel in the black community, right from downtown in Lakeland on Parker Street. 3:00, free food, free admission. It's not going to be nothing. Cause we want to definitely give a shout out to our sponsors. We got Dedicated Seniors that came on board. Enhancement Enterprises. I'll be there signing my book as an author, creating a sales mentality, how to think like a salesperson, how to get your persuasion skills together, and how to get your thought process together. So I'll be signing my book as well. Suncoast Federal Credit Union is one of our sponsors. And so we want to do something as a crowning event for Black History. We want to close this thing out with a jam and come out and mix empowerment with us socializing. So empowerment can also be a part of socializing our culture, where we can celebrate our great history. Do you know we're celebrating 100 years of Black history in America? As a Black people, we can be proud of our rich history. The other people in America, they look back at their history. They look back at bloodshed. They look back at pillaging. They look back at their history. It's terrible. But we got a glorious history. And we let people talk us out of even talking about Black history. And so we want to make sure that we come out. Dr. Khalil Ali has also agreed to come out. And she have a wonderful story to tell. And how when Muhammad Ali, they took his title and told him that, look, we're not going to let you box. That it was her as the wife that got him on a speaking circuit and got him to going to colleges and making money. He had no money then. You got to remember when she married him in 1967, that was right at the time when he was not going to the draft. So that's a lesson too, that, she saw value in him to get with him when he didn't have nothing. So when he became one of the most world recognized, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, got to understand that the Nation of Islam produced at least 2 or 3 of the people that's known all over the world. You take Muhammad Ali, you take Minister Malcolm X, you take Louis Farrakhan, you take all these people come out of this same tradition that's known all over the world. So it would behoove us to investigate and have a discussion about that great history. So that's what we're going to do on Sunday at the Well, 114 East Parker Street, downtown Lakeland. It's going to start at 3 o'clock. Try to get there 2:30, quarter to 3. And let's have some fun and socialize and inviting all of your viewers to come out. And I want to thank you, Sister Mona. And I want to thank you, Sister Jeanette, because you have a large platform to let me come on and talk about what I need to talk about and trying to celebrate, doing some celebratory things in terms of Black history. Of course, I know my dear Queen Sister Connie was laying it out in terms of what we need to do as a community and being boots on the ground and getting it done. But we have a lot of work. It's enough work for all of us. And we have to be about the work and not just talk about it. We have to be about it. But it's a lot of sacrifices. It's a lot of sacrifices. So the people have to understand, everybody want to jump up and say they want to be a leader. I ask everybody, can you stand the rain? Because the rain is coming. Can you stand the rain? Because the rain is coming. So we got some tried and tested leaders in our community. Sister Connie is one of them, that stood up against the United States government by herself. By herself when she went to court. It's United States versus Connie Burton. So we got a lot of people that's talking, but they ain't really ready to put in this kind of work because they want friendship with the people, friendship with the master. They want to have some butter biscuit and a piece of fried chicken with the master. They want people to call their name, So we got a lot of work to do in terms of making this thing work. So
we're gonna have to start calling those people out because we aren't getting anywhere with those type of people who aren't willing to fight, people who aren't willing to be a disruptor. But Jarvis, tell me, I want to know, what is one of your principles of the Ramadan? I know you guys are ready to enter it. Is it when? Friday?
Yeah, Ramadan. It's every year. And it's according to the lunar calendar. So it goes up 30 days every year. Last year was in March. This year's in February. Next year it's going to be in January. So it goes up every year. So it's sighting of the lunar calendar, the new moon. As the earth develops, it develops a new moon. And when that new moon is sighted, not in Saudi Arabia, this is what people get wrong. When it's sighted in your locale, in your personal locale, according to the traditions of the prophet. So it was sighted in the continent of the United States yesterday, the new moon. So after it's sighted, then we start the Ramadan. So we pray tonight, and then we start Ramadan. The principle is self-control. It says that self-restraint, discipline, consciousness of Allah. During the month of Ramadan, we read the whole of the Quran. We read 1/3 of the Quran every day. So in 30 days, we have read the Quran cover to cover. So I've done Ramadan since 1976. So that means almost 40 years. I done read it cover to cover, the Quran, 40 times. I don't know how many Christians, I don't know how many preachers, I don't know how many Jews, I don't know how many read the Torah and the Bible from cover to cover 40 times. You got Black Christians probably have never read the Bible cover to cover, not one time. And this ain't no attack on them, it's just the truth. And so during that time, we do good, we do more charity, everything we do, our blessings of increase. And it says in our faith tradition that whatever you pray for during the month of Ramadan, if it will not do you harm, Allah will grant it to you. And I tell you something, those principles of Ramadan have worked in my life for the last 40 years. And I got some things that I'm definitely going into reflection, praying about, discipline about, camaraderie with the believers, and you know, even going into Ramadan when you got bad blood against your brother, bad blood against your sister. And so all of the people that I had any kind of bad blood with, any kind of disagreement with, or didn't care for them, before Ramadan, I made a call and say, look, we gonna bygones be bygones. That don't mean that we gonna be friends. That don't mean that we're gonna be there. But I'm getting this off of my heart, so I can go into Ramadan not being here, being a hypocrite, being you know, not for real. That I ain't going into Ramadan with some bad blood, something in my heart. So let's get a chance to get your sins forgiven, and also these principles of discipline, self-restraint,
You know, as
self-control.
as I listen to you, Jarvis, I'm thinking that Islam is bad news for white supremacy. If Black people gathered under Islam, just the principles, just the discipline, just the brotherhood and the sisterhood. If Black people came together around those principles, that's all it
Jeanette,
takes.
And
I
we
was
put these
I was
these
thinking
principles
the
together.
same thing. Hold on, Jarvis. I was thinking the same thing
Yes.
when he gave us the principles, and I was like, if we as Black people could live those principles, or ma'at, we'll do well. Because these people aren't living this 10 Commandments. They're not following their Bible.
But
And
with
I tell you
God,
something,
Those
With
aren't
I-
made for us. They're not made for us.
Albert, let me say this to you. You brought up Maya. Maya is balance. And
Yeah.
those principles of Maya and these principles of our faith tradition, they in balance with each other. And so,
Mhm.
so imagine we have Maya and we have these great principles of Al Islam that we can work with. And so I ask people to you know, go to Amazon and buy books called Towards Understanding Islam. Just get those principles of Islam. You don't have to be a Muslim. You need to
Right.
expand your knowledge. You
And
need to
that's
have a
what
copy of the
yeah, that's what I think. You don't have to be, but the principles are solid. And
Yeah.
all the brothers that I meet, they are the same from one year to the next, from one decade to the next. They are always consistent and strong, and they understand who they are and where they're going. And I think that's what's missing in the Black community. We are grasping or holding on to something that was never meant for us.
There's never been. When you talk about moral and character, ever since I've been knowing any Muslims, they are the same today as they was the day I met them.
Yes, and
Very,
they're about
very
community.
the morals, the characteristics of these people.
and we fall
extreme.
short. We short for Sister Connie, and Sister Mona, and Sister Jeanette. We
sure.
fall short. The
Oh,
tradition
sure.
of Muhammad,
Because
the
we know
tradition of
nobody is perfect always, but
Yeah, I want to make this example. You know, there's one principle in our brotherhood that says that if you have a disagreement with your brother, it shouldn't last more than 72 hours,
mhm,
regardless of who wrong in that disagreement.
mhm.
That the person that after 72 hours, you could be right in the disagreement, but if you don't go to your brother in 72 hours, then that's wrong on your behalf. And so
Mhm.
some things happen. I can deal with 72 hours. Some things happen. I can't deal with 72 hours. It take
Right.
Brother Jarvis a little longer because God's still working on me. But you have these high principles to live up to,
Mhm.
and it keeps you. So if you know, Les Brown used to say, shoot for the moon. If you land among the stars, you'll be all right. And so if you got high principle, high moral principle, good character, good conduct, this is what make us good human beings and make us better and we'll be better for the struggle of liberating our people, because wherever Islam went around the world, it liberated its people. So Islam without liberation, no good. So these people who are immigrants, people who think that this is an Arab religion, think this is a foreign religion, it's simply not true. It's a universal religion, and the largest population of Muslims around the world is not even in Arabia. It's in Indonesia. 800 million Muslims between Indonesia and Malaysia. 4.5 billion Muslims around the world. 1 in every 5 human beings is a Muslim. This is why they had all this talk about Mandani. That's what it was all about, because the principles of no interest, you know, we don't deal with riba. What do you call it? No interest. So you can't be involved in interest if you practice Islam right. And so some of us stay away from it in America, some of us don't. But these are principles that we try to strive to live up to. And so we'll be delving deep off into this and making Islam as a part of our heritage, as a part of Black history. This is one of the first time I can remember, it probably happened before, that Black history and Ramadan come at the same time. So I'm ecstatic.
Mhm.
And so
Well,
you should.
it looks like I'm going to be able to attend because Jeanette has something to do, and we're going to cancel our Sunday show. So
Well, I hope
I'm
you
gonna,
come.
I'm gonna,
I want.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, I really hope you come. It would be good. It's going to be at the 114 Parker Street, downtown Lakeland, 3 o'clock Sunday. Free food, free admission, panel discussion. We're going to have a lot of fun. I got some live entertainment. I got Sister Tawanda's nephew. We're going to come and play that saxophone.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
circle around tea and conversation. Know how good he played that saxophone. That is something. So we're going to have some fun. Bring your wife out, your better half. If you ain't got nobody, come out looking good. Wear your African clothes. I'm gonna put on my African clothes and just celebrate. Bring the village out and bring the Maya people out. All right, and we have some fun. I thank you so very much. Nice talking to my family. Thank you so much, Connie. Thank you so much, Sister Jeanette, Mona. Y'all moving in a different direction. Moving in a different, independent. Moving in a different direction. Y'all got it going on. It's all good. We appreciate it. All right, y'all talk to town. And God bless you.
You bet.
I think that's going to be good. Connie, what are you doing Sunday? You plan on going?
I'm thinking. I think I made plans. This is the first time I've heard about it. I'm just going to check my calendar before I commit to it.
All right, because we'll all carpool over.
Okay.
That sounds like a good idea. I'll be in Sarasota at an art showing, and I also have an art showing in Waimama. So it's 2, and I have to get somebody to help me out, but I'll be all day selling art. So
wonderful.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
You have some beautiful pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. But Connie, I know the knocking doors, because some folks will ask me, come out and knock some doors, and it's like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that, I got to do whatever. I think that is our answer, is to knock on doors, educating right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's as simple as that. We don't have to make it all difficult. If we're not going to be in the streets, we could be knocking on doors right now.
Yes, taking care of our own home front.
Right.
And I believe that, a simple task can even be started out taking care of just your immediate circle.
Mm-hmm.
Your immediate circle. It might take a while to convince some of these young folks why they need to get back into the political game, what it means for them and their future and their children. And so I'm excited. African history is everyday history for me and you all as well. Just to keep on just exposing, living by example, sharing with our people, increasing our understanding and not holding it on to, your own personal breastplate, but showing people, that these things that we are encountering now, we've gone through, and our people have gone through worse, but we end up coming out as winners. So to me, if they run it off the rail, it'll be all right. When we got here, we was off the rail. We was brought into, harmful circumstances. And from that, we was able to build, just the brilliancy of Black excellence. And so we just going to keep on with that trend, nurturing our children, loving our Black men, being committed to our community, our history, and just keep on moving.
Yeah. But to the point that you're making, because I can't get off the knocking on the doors yet. I'm not ready to move from a very simple concept that likely needs to happen right now, start right now.
Right now.
And what if it was, let's say, the 92%, let's say even here in Tampa, that we're talking to Black women. Right now, let's talk to the matriarch or the Black woman in the family. And we're saying to the Black woman, and we have some kind of campaign going, I don't know, but we're saying to the Black woman, you need to figuratively knock on the doors in your circle. Like, not all Black women across the board. We're not going out in them streets, but you are going to knock on the door. So I'm going to talk to my sister. I'm going to talk to our friends. I'm going to talk to my cousins. I'm going to make sure everybody is registered and ready to vote in my circle. That's the knocking on the doors. And then they will talk to their friends and family members, what have you. We need to start centered somewhere, and the center may be the matriarch in the family. And then you start branching it out, and you start branching it out. Surely my people are going to touch your people somewhere, because we are branching out. We need to find a strategy of door knocking that is where we are, as Jarvis said, and as we like to say, moving different. But we're moving effectively in a way where we speak to the Black women and say, it is time to start. And let's just call it door knocking.
Yes. Well, you
Let's
know, like
call
I said, it's not nothing all that, you know.
Yeah, it can't be. It can't be.
It ain't that hard. It ain't that
Right.
hard. And we've done it before. And so what I did, I've just made me a list. I made me a list, you know, of my immediate. And then I looked at the secondary of, well, this my son, and that's his wife, and that's her mama, and that's her, you know, her father, and, you know, carry up. And so once I've talked to those individuals about, hey, preparation, what we need to do, is it all right if I check in? How about if we just go to the poll together? Let's make this a big event
That's even
amongst
better.
ourselves. Let's
That's
make this
it.
something special for us.
We
And
are
so
planning
I said,
this.
I want to make me a list, and then if we get to 100, we'll be doing good. Everybody have a right to expand the list, but it's because we've done these things before to make me know it can be done.
Sure.
Right.
We did it
So-
with Barack Obama, and before Barack Obama, when people had to go through treacherous trials and tribulations, we done it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can't allow them to take it from us. This
We
belongs
really
to us.
can.
We
So I'm gonna
can't lay
throw-
down. We can't lay down and give it to them. We have to fight, and we know we're fighters.
This
Yeah,
belongs to us.
I'm going to
This is
throw.
part of our.
yeah.
This is part of our Black legacy.
I'm
Absolutely.
going to throw this chat into Chat GPT and play with it for a little bit. And I'm going to shoot this out to both of you guys. But I truly believe that we keep it simple. We don't try to reinvent something that's, too unwieldy that people can't or won't do it. But what's more simple than, I have people in my family who voted for Trump. Well, we're talking all the time. Yeah, I'm admitting that. But we're talking all the time because he's not going to be on the ballot, but here's who is going to be on the ballot, and here's why this makes sense, right? Because like Trump and that he's a fighter and whatever else. But we can find ways to reach the people in our circles.
Yes.
And that's got to be the key for us, and that's got to be the new March to November 3rd.
Yep. Build your
Isn't
circle. Build your
something-
circle out. Build
something
your
you
circle
probably-
out.
And my
No,
circle's going to eventually touch other people's circle.
Exactly.
And it's definitely
So-
something I have done with my family from, I don't know, for a while. So I am making sure that everybody in my immediately family is all voting almost at the same time. We always going to have some stragglers.
Right. But then
Same thing with my customers. I give them a
slate.
slate,
slate. You're right.
and I tell them you're the head of the family now. Make sure all the grandkids, make sure all your children are registered to vote.
Mhm.
And I
We
think the
see the
slave,
hell. We see the hell that we're about to enter into, that we're already entering into, that's going to get worse.
the slate
Mhm.
is a good idea too, by the way, because even I do the slate, and if I don't do it in time, my family
Yep.
members, my aunts, my cousins are like, "Where's the slate? Where's the slate?"
Mhm.
And I say to them, share it with your friends. So
Mhm.
if more of us do that type of thing, then I think we can make a difference, and we need to start talking about it.
One
That's all.
thing that I think is unique in our community is that we tend to follow the leaders.
Yes.
Whether
Mhm.
it's not the leaders, but we tend to follow trends. We see things in emotion and then we want to somehow get involved in it. And I think just like simple slogans like
Yes.
James Brown
Yeah.
and Jesse Jackson and others that have said simple things to us, that a light bulb clicked. A light bulb clicked. I'm somebody. Wow, I'm somebody. I'm telling you, after I heard that, could sisters, I'm telling you the truth. Something inside of me just woke up that I was no longer intimidated by whatever anybody had or whoever they say it was, how many degrees, whatever position they was in. Something inside of me told me that I had a right.
Absolutely.
Nice.
I had a right to be. I had a right to speak. I had a right to defend. And from then on, I just kept it moving. I
Yeah.
just kept it moving. I didn't need no validations from nobody or somebody, trying to make you feel bad. Well, what college you went to? None. Uh, Public housing. I used to say little quirky stuff, but something just from hearing him say that
I
to
am
me,
somebody.
I am somebody,
I
told me
am,
that I had a right to fight.
and you have a right.
Mhm. I
Jeanette,
had a right.
you got any closing?
Who, me?
Jeanette.
Jeanette. Okay.
No, she's talking to me to close her. You have the I am somebody thing, right?
Yes.
Because Sister Connie keeps saying it. It's like, did you know that that's going to be a part of our closing? So, folks,
Well,
tonight we got
because I think that is what motivated the first time I think we heard it. Could have been when we was in middle
I don't
school
know.
or
Yeah, I don't know
Sesame
when I
Street,
heard
something
it.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You
Yeah.
remember when Dr. King told them in Memphis, I am a man?
Yeah.
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 I am a man.
Yeah.
I am a
Yeah.
So,
man.
yeah. So
What
we
And
don't,
Fannie
you say,
Lou
boy?
well,
Hamer had
they
to
have been
say,
called and treated
I'm a
like
woman.
boys.
I'm a
Yeah,
woman. I mean,
yeah,
Ain't I a
it is,
woman?
yeah.
I'm a woman too. I mean, it
Yeah.
is just unbelievable what we have had to go through.
Mhm.
And
Right.
we have to make sure that our children don't go through that and the next generation.
And the way we make sure is to get out there knocking on them doors. Like,
Knocking
And
on doors, like Jarvis said, nice, simple principles of respecting,
yeah,
even people that don't have no understanding why they should vote, just taking the time to explain the process to them and
mhm,
showing them how they relinquish their power by not participating.
yeah, I
and
think
how
so.
to be a part of the group, how to be a
Mhm.
part of
The
the team.
movement.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I've been singing in my head for the last 2 days
You're gonna
is this
sing it?
Nina
Going
Simone.
to,
No,
are you
to be
you gonna
to be
sing it?
young. No,
Young,
to be
Come
young,
young,
on,
gifted,
black,
and
and
black.
gifted.
To
We'll
be
play that
young,
next week.
gifted, and black. I can't get it
come
out my
on,
head.
come on, Connie, sing it.
That's as far as I can go with it. But it's where it's at right now. To be
Yeah, she's
young,
one of my
gifted, and black is
favorite.
where it's at.
Yeah.
And
I
I
love that.
include myself to be part of that young, gifted, and black. Uh, the scripture says that 1,000 years is like one day with God. So we are all young,
Young.
gifted, and black.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. And I thought you were gonna say you can include yourself as part of that young, gifted, and black generation because that that was our generation that
Yes.
came about as we were coming of age and really understanding exactly what we were up against.
Yes.
So that's beautiful. But you know, guys, tonight it wasn't nostalgia. It was a mirror.
Mhm.
Reverend Jackson's life is proof that Black political power doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being organized, disciplined, and willing to pressure the system. And to the people calling him names, understand this: reducing a Black freedom fighter to a caricature is a way of avoiding what he represented, and that is disruption. Black America, hear me clear. Stop loving the politicians. You know, people say, I love me some Barack Obama. Stop loving the politicians. Stop worshiping the golden calf. Stop taking safe when the moment requires bravery. Honor Jesse Jackson by doing the thing we keep refusing to do. Unify behind the fighters, Jasmine Crockett. I just had to put that in there.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And build power that cannot be ignored. That's how we keep hope alive.
Yes.
Good night, Facebook. We won't see you on Sunday. We'll be back next Wednesday.
Mhm.
Absolutely. We shall be back. Do we have a closing, the I Am Somebody
Let's see.
to close with? Because I mean, Connie kept saying it, so I really want to play it.
I may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be hungry, but I am somebody. I am black, beautiful, proud. I must be respected. I must be respected.
Thank
All right.
you.
Good night. Thank you,
Goodbye.
Connie, for doing
Thank
this.
you, Connie, so much. This was absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Mhm.